In light of the recent devastation we've all experienced from Hurricane Matthew, I figured I'd just give you some helpful hints on how to take care of animals that you may find in distress. Very frequently there's lots of trees that fall down because the soil gets very moist and falls on top of fences, this, that, and the other, into houses, and animals can get spooked and run away. There's been a lot of uncontrolled flooding happening and finding distressed animals in the water. If you locate an animal in the water or near the water in distress, one thing you can do is potentially try and coax them in. By no means jump in the water after the dog, because sometimes that water can be much deeper than you actually expect, and the currents can be much stronger than you expect, strong enough to take a car down the stream. So be very careful with that. Try and follow the animal down until there's either some kind of damming effect of woods and debris. And a lot of times you get the animal, coax the animal in. Another thing that I probably recommend as well is having towels to dry the animal off and keep the animal warm. Inspect the animal for any kind of injury. And potentially, if you're worried about the animal just in distress and fearful and trying to bite, one good way to deal with that is just to kind of wrap the animal in a very large blanket, moving blanket or comforter, and then pick the animal up that way. But be very careful trying to get bit. In terms of your own animals in your own house, the things to worry about here are fences getting broken, you're letting your dogs out, and your fence, a tree falling on your fence and your dog's getting out. Be very cognizant of that. Inspect your fence line. Just be very cognizant of your animals if you notice they're in distress. Sometimes storms and thunder and wind can cause anxiety where they start shaking and become fearful or hide. Right there, the best thing is just offering comfort. Also be very careful. There's a lot of people with generators out there and extension cords everywhere. If you have a young animal that's a chewer, decides to chew everything in sight, be very careful of extension cords because those can cause electrical trauma to the mouth if they bite into an electrical, even if it's from a generator. And always be very cognizant of where the generator is. It's not in their environment, so they can be affected by the exhaust of a generator. All in all, the key thing is to be very cognizant of your surroundings. If you do find animals and there's animals out there that you cannot help, it may be a good idea to try and call animal control.